Okay, guys, so let's continue for today class. What we're gonna work on today is add product to cart, right? If the cart has item in stock, right? If there is no item, you're gonna see something like this, correct? Let's say out of stock, and you don't see the add to cart button here. So we have built all this functionality in our product details page, right? If you go to the products detail page, where is in our root product, right? And the slug here, because you're going to create one of the product and you have to go product slash one of the product, which is this slug, right? It will catch whatever after product, okay? And then this page will render, right? So you have all the details here. The final, our goal for today, right? To update this button, okay? Where is the button here? Let me check. This button, right? Add to cart button, okay? This button we're going to replace with the our final component, which is going to have all the like information built inside, right? Like adding products, getting the cards and all that, okay? So first let's look at the our online data and go step by step. This is a big topic, big things to do, right? So let's look at here. Implement add to cart, right? Component, okay? How we can do that? Finalize the types of the data and create a validation for it, okay? Types of data, right? So cart is what is cart now, right? If I have to explain here what is cart, let's say in the database I'm going to create something, right? Call it cart here. Okay, let's say this is the cart, right? Cart is nothing but the array, right? This is a cart, shopping cart in the database where I'm going to store the data, right? Always look at when you have to store something in the database, you're going to have cart, then each cart will be one of the object, right? The first goal is to look at what kind of data is inside this object, okay? That is the first goal, okay? So let's work on that, right? Format the price and create a schema for the cart, so we know we have to, like define the type of our data, right? Then there in the data there will be price, so you have to write a function to format that price also. And then once we know the type of data, right, then we have to create a schema for the same types. Like for that object we have to create a schema so that we can communicate with our database, right? And once we have all this ready, right, then the idea is to create session ID in user cookies, right? For example, what we want to do, right? The idea here is if someone is logged in, let's say today I just logged into my account, right? And maybe I don't have the like for example, I added some items to my cart. I just logged in, right? Let's look at one of the site, right? An example here. So the Raj, this is the website, right? Right now you don't see anything here, okay? But if I click one of the product, right? If I just click one of the product, like add to cart, right? Like add to cart, okay? So it will ask me to log in, okay? Log in, right? I just log in. That's okay. I can go to cart, right? So see if I have something from before here in my cart, okay? Something from before, right? I just added this, but I have something from before also. So these informations are already in the database, stored in my user, right? In my account information, okay? So this cart information, like this is the cart in the database, right? They are linked to the user information, user ID or something, right? Or here in our case, right, what we're going to do is if I open any website, for example, even if I open this website, right, our goal is to create a cookies. First we're going to create a cookies and it will be added to our application right here. So you're going to see the cookies here, something like session cart ID, right? Because I was experimenting, so you can find here, right, from my other project. Okay, I mean, I was just doing experiment this point, right? You can see, you're going to see something like this, and then we will check if there is already session cart ID, right? Then we're going to use that ID to, like, find out if the user has already cart in the database or not. If there is cart, we're going to display the cart information here, right? Like how many items in the cart and all that. Okay, so it's difficult to explain, but let's go line by line, right? You get the idea. The first idea is to understand the type of data we're going to put inside our cart. Okay, that's the first thing. Let's go and complete that part, right? So in the leave validator.ts, let's create there, right? I think we already have. Let's see. In the leave, there is a validator. We don't have, right? So we can create. So let's create one folder, right? Validation, and maybe inside here we're gonna add the file. We can even put outside, does not matter. Okay, so let's keep it here, validator, right, .ts. Okay, so here what we're gonna do, we just copy this code place, right? So look at this one, import Jod, right? That we have installed. We have Jod already installed in our system, so we import that one. Jod is used for validation, right? Let's not worry about this. We're gonna get that just now, because format number with decimal, right? This function will do something to, like to format the price, right? The number to the 2 decimal point. Okay, that's what this function will do. We're gonna import that, right? But what are the data in our card now? So we call it card item schema, right? We just give the name and export that one. So Jod g.object, this will create the schema object. Okay, one object, right? And that is what we are exporting. So the first one is product ID, name, slug, quantity, image, and price, right? So in the shopping cart, okay, when you look at the shopping cart, right here, even here you see the name of the item, maybe the image there, the quantity is there, these are the few, prices there, right? These are the few things we basically add in our shopping cart, right? So that's what we are trying to do here. Okay, product ID, to know which product is this is from which product, right? To figure out the product ID, name, slug, quantity, image, price. Okay, so this format with the decimal function will basically format the number, right, in this format, like .2 up to the 2 decimal point, right? And these are the regex. Okay, these are the regex, like regex syntax. Regex means you just give some what do you call that, some symbols, right? You just use some symbols to do certain things. Okay, so we have not studied regex. You have to do that also, right? It will help sometimes to understand the code. So, and also there is like escape. So they just do something, right? Certain things in the regex. Okay, so let's not go that details, right? Just understand our goal is to get the price, final price, like this in this format. Okay, that is all, right? So the Jod already have the number, right? Numbers with refine, and you put the value like this format, right? Like in the refine, you have a callback function which gonna basically do the job, right? To convert any number, like if even you have like 49.306000 something like that, it will convert to the nice decimal, 2 decimal point, right? With this one. Okay, so just remember, this is nothing but the converting number to this format, right? That is all for now. Let's keep up to that point. Okay, so let's import this function, right? Here, so in the utils, we're gonna just put this function. Okay, leave utils, right? We have that in the leave utils here. So yeah, so just here, just add that, function and we are exporting, right? So look at this one. See, this function gonna receive what? This function will receive the number, right? Number, but this function is returning string, okay? Type checking, we know that function can return maybe void or string, something like that. So this number we convert to string, right? And split at the decimal point, okay? So when you split string, it will give you array, right? Array, and then array is this structure here. So the first part we call integer and the second part we call decimal, right? Something like this, okay? I think I saw you last time, but I will show you again, right? This is what we are doing. Let's go back here. Just imagine this is the number, right? I mean, even if I have number 45, I can convert to string, right? Like that. Sorry. Okay, like this, and then dot, right? And then I can call split, okay? And then split, I mean, see, I don't have a 2 point. I didn't put the, like 2 point here. Split, and if you enter, right? Oh, okay, it did not work. I have to make it a string for now, right? Let's make that one. Point maybe 50, 20, something like that, okay? And now you're gonna split. So this is already string. We are converting number to string and then split, right? Split at what point? Okay. Look at this. This will return array, right? Array like this. So this is the int, and now we destructure. Okay. On the right side, you get something like this, right? You can destructure on the left side with variable const square bracket int is the first one and second one is the decimal, right? Okay. So that is what we are trying to do here. So you can split, you get the first number, second number after decimal, right? Now, if there is a decimal, then you can, display this in this format, like integer dot decimal, right? And just select 2 items from the beginning. Okay, that is all. Else, if there is no decimal, then just display the int. Okay. So that is all, right? That is all this function doing, right? Just give me a second. We have a lot of street dog here. If some new people come, it will start making noise. Okay, so that is the job of this format, So let's get back now, right, to the validator here. Okay, so this is working. We're gonna use this later, right? Okay, what is the next thing now? So we understand our object, right? We understand this one. See, this gonna like return this something like in the future we're gonna validate, right? Data we're gonna validate all our cart object. Okay, each item in the cart, right, will be one of the object, which will be something like this format. Okay, there will be product ID, name, slot, quantity, image, price, right, inside here. So when I say object, you know what is object, right? So that is good. So the next thing is, okay, so we have in the leave types, what we can do, right? We can just, infer this object, right? Infer this object so that later we don't have to infer, right? So let's do that one. In our, basically in the leave index, right? I'll just copy this. Leave, we have index here. Where we can put that type. So we don't have, we have types somewhere, type, we're using types. Let me check quickly, right? I mean, okay, what I will do, right? I'm just gonna, if I have to infer any types, I will just put it here. Action, constant, schema, validation, right? Schema is here. It's same thing, this is the schema, right? I mean, we should have put that validation, this inside the schema also. Okay, so sample data. Okay, so let's add one thing, right, called types, one folder, right? And inside we're gonna have maybe index.ts. So you have to, like infer any types, just put it here, right? Place that code. So import card item schema, right? From validation validator, right? Like that. And then jod is there. So how you infer, right? G.infer from jod.infer type of schema, right? So this will return exactly the object now, right? Like type object. Okay, this object will be equal to whatever card item. Okay, so now we're gonna directly use this object in our code later. Okay, we're just gonna use, now we don't have to worry about that validation. Okay, we don't have to worry, that we already converted to the object, and that's what we're going to use. So from the types and exporting this cart item, so I'll just import this cart item. Even in the, if you put in this one, the same file, it will be still okay, right? We have schema, we should have just added here, that will be also fine. Okay, so let me close all this now. What is the next step now, right? So we finish our, like validation, right? We have done. Now it's time to create the schema for our database. Okay, because the shopping cart, when you click on add to cart, right, that item will go in database. So we must need, right, this schema. Okay, so let's copy that schema and go to the Prisma, right? Schema here, and somewhere on the bottom, just place that. Okay, so now in this cart is in the cart, right? Just understand this this is a shopping cart. Okay, this is a shopping cart, right? So the shopping cart have what, lot other things also. I mean, earlier we just talked about one cart item. Okay, one cart item means what? See, this is the shopping cart, right? Schema. Okay, array of items. Now this was the one cart item whose data types we define. Okay, now we are talking about this shopping cart itself, right? This is what we're going to define in our schema. So what are the things we're going to need? Of course, each item in the schema or each table has unique ID, user ID also, right? Because who is the user who created this cart? I mean, shopping cart, right? So you must attach a link to the user. So you're going to store the user ID here, right? Session cart ID now. Remember, every time somebody who open the website, right, the session will be created inside their browser. Okay, user browser. That session we're gonna store here also, so that next time when he come back, right, and if there is session in his browser, we can display the card quickly from the database in his browser, right? We can do that. So this is important, session card, right? Even if the session card is deleted, still if he has added something in the card, right, and stored in the database, when he logged in, the shopping cart will appear, right? So shopping cart will be the, like how many there is items in the shopping cart, you're going to see in the shopping cart icon, right? Number of items. Okay, you're going to see that. So this is the items inside the cart. This is the shopping cart array. This is the items, right? So this will be, look at here, this will be stored as an array. Okay, inside the array you're going to have many items, right? Many items. Okay, so here will be like first item, second item, all that, right? Shopping cart, the items inside the, or product inside the shopping cart, right? So you have many shopping products inside, you need to put inside the array, right? So this is the array. So in the MongoDB, like it's difficult, right? So you have to put, I think, the JSON at the rate, and then it support like this. Okay, if this is SQL, or maybe let's call it Postgres, right? It's easy, but that's how it works in the MongoDB, right? Next, so we have all the items in the shopping cart. You have the cookies, user ID, the unique ID, all that, right? Now what else? This is the item. Okay, what else you need in the shopping cart? Total price. So this cart has maybe 5 items, right? You need total price, you need shipping price, you need tax price, you need the total shopping cart price. Now see, just remember, this holds each product of the shopping, right? But you still need these things like calculate item price, shipping price, tax price, and total price. Because here will be like total price of the item, then you add the shipping price, tax price, and this will become total price, right? And then you have the user relation. Okay, establish the relation with the user, right? So that we have to go back to the user here, right? It added the something like this, but we can just this will be array, right? Maybe something like, I believe this is how it works. And this will be also, maybe, I don't know if this will be optional. So this is just a relational, right? Yeah, so that this is just to make to just establish relation. Okay, so that should not affect anything. So let's make it small cart like that, right? Cart equal to this model, right? Cart model, and yeah, so that should be fine. Okay, so that's done, right? Once we have finished this part, creating our model cart, then we can make it S, right? Also, or just leave it, it's okay. Next, what we can do is get add, not get add, right? Got npx prisma db push, right? Npx prisma db push. Okay, npx prisma db push. Okay, so now this will reflect inside our MongoDB, right? If you go to the MongoDB, you're gonna find there also. Okay, so because I have added some items before from the other, project, so it should be there also, right? Because I'm using the same database. You can, I mean, you can see, right? Here you're gonna have a cart, and this cart have something there. Yeah, there is already something. Okay, because I added earlier, right? So they just sync. Okay, so I can just delete this for now, right? Let's delete this item. You can look at here, like look at here, right? These items, I mean, there is a user ID for the unique ID, right? Session of the user. Okay, there will be always, soon I open the website, right? This session will be created in the browser. Okay, session cookie, right? It will be created, and this will be useful for us to, like find this cart inside our database with this session ID, right? Items, how many items are there in the cart? So these all are object, right? Look at here. So there is a product ID. Remember that we created the item schema, product ID, name, slug, quantity, how many quantity, maybe this item I added like 2, 3, whatever quantity, right? And unit price. There is image link also. Look at this, everything we just added, right? Okay, and then item price is here, the shipping price is that, tax price, and the total price, right? So this is our shopping cart for me, right? Let's say I'm the user right now. If somebody, other people logged in and create shopping cart, for them there will be shopping cart also, right? So yeah, just leave it, no problem, just leave it. Let's go back now. What is the next thing? Now the main logic to add cart, and right, like main logic now, because let's say I open the browser, right? I just open the website. So what's gonna happen? I open here, right? The main thing is I need to create the session if there is no session, right? But if there is already session, for example, okay, if there is already session, maybe the session is deleted. from before, right? If let's say I logged in before, I did something, right? So I have the data in the database, maybe already the card. Okay, so how I gonna get that card and then update that session back to my local session here, change, right? How I gonna flip that session? Because you don't want to have different many sessions. You're gonna have one session either from the new session and then create shopping cart, or if you already have a session, then you update here, right? So all these things we're gonna do now. That is the most difficult things to understand. Okay, like, I mean, it's a little bit difficult, right? So to do all that, we already have NextAuth installed, correct? We are using NextAuth. It provides a JSON web token already, right? The functionality inside the NextAuth. Okay, so that's what we're gonna use, right, to create all that. Let's see how we're gonna do that. Let's close all this now. So the next step is move to the auth, right? Auth.js here. So right now, look at this. We have this session, right? We have this callback. There is a session, and then there is a JSON web token, right? So right now we're just returning token, nothing else. We're not doing anything, right? But we're gonna use this one to do all the rest of the work. So inside the callback object, right, you gonna put session, JSON web tokens, and everything we're gonna need, we're gonna add here, right? So see, the thing is, right, when somebody open any page, these things run first always. Okay, this will, like, we're gonna have a middleware also here, right? Authorization middleware, so that will run all the time if anyone opens the browser. So that whatever we have to do, right, in order to create shopping carts and all that, that's gonna happen here itself. Okay, basically, let's say here we deal with the creating JSON web token. I mean, let's call it token, right? JSON web token or token, whatever. Okay, so the first thing is this token, right? So let me copy this and then explain all line by line. So right now we just have token. I mean, we're just returning token. Okay, even here I'm returning token, right? So what I will do, I'm just going to take this out. I'll just keep that one maybe on the top, right? It's okay. Even I put here, does not matter. Let me delete this. And keep it somewhere on the, let's keep it here. I don't know. So there is a session. Okay, I'll just keep it here. Fine. Okay, let's look at now, right? JSON web token. See, the JSON web token, right? It has access to token users. Token, we saw before also, right? There was token only, but it has access to user. It has access to session and trigger also, right? So trigger also. What is trigger now? Remember, somebody gonna like go for sign in or sign up. These are the trigger here, right? What we are returning. Now let's go back. Our adapter. Where is the adapter, right? Let's see here. These are the trigger, like sign in, auth, sign out, right? Sign out, sign in. Okay, these are the trigger, right? Or maybe if somebody goes to that route also, okay, sign in or sign up routes, then you want to trigger something. But first, just understand JSON web token has access to the user information, like token. Token has something inside, like user also, right? If somebody logged in, there will be a user information in the JSON web token, right? So that is the user information it has access to. Okay, and session also, right? And the trigger also. So we will check all that, but for now, so we're missing cookies. What is cookies now, right? We have to import that. Okay, so let's import cookies, right, from the, I think, next header. So this cookie will help us to like get cookies, whatever built inside the browser, right? Okay. So let's see 1 second now. Okay, fine. So the first thing what we're gonna do, just imagine, just think of somebody open the website, right? They're gonna have, if they are logged in, there will be user information. Or if there is token also, right? There will be token also, okay? Let's say if somebody logged in, if user is there, right? Like somebody logged in, right? If the trigger is coming from sign in or maybe sign up, right? Then you want to do something. We just want to have some process, right? So that is what we are writing. Just imagine somebody logged in, then we want to do something, okay? First thing is, let's check if there is the session ID, right? Like session cart ID. This ID we have not created yet, okay? We're gonna create later, right? But just understand, if there is session cart ID, right? Something, because I have created from before, I will show you. That should be something like this. This one, right? This is the one, but we're gonna create that, okay? This is session cart ID, right? See, if there is this one, or maybe not, right? So we want to do based on that logic, okay? Let's continue. So in the cookies, how we gonna access that session cart ID? From this cookies dot get session cart ID, the name of the name right there, the string and their value. That's how you're gonna access this session cart ID, right? We'll check if no session cart ID, throw error, okay? So based on this session cart ID, right, we're gonna find now the let's call it basically cart, right? Session cart exists. So if we have this session cart ID, can we get the cart from the database? Yes, prisma.cart find first, right? Where session cart ID equal to this session cart ID, right? How? So we just created the schema, remember that, and our schema has this session cart ID. So I'm saying, okay, prisma.cart that find, right, with session cart ID. But if that session cart ID matches, I'm gonna get that shopping cart, right? I'm gonna get that. That's what I'm trying to do. So it will give me this, let's say it will give me the shopping cart now, right? Let's call it session cart exists. This is just a shopping cart, okay? Exists, right? If you can find, you're gonna get it. Let's say if you cannot find, right? Yeah, it's okay. Let's say you find it, okay? Let's say you find the shopping cart, right? Now we do another check here. If session cart exists, means there is session cart, right? But maybe it does not have the user attached to it. I'm in the website, right? There is a cart from before, but maybe there is no user ID. But how am I gonna put that, right? Or there is already user, right? But normally what happens when you have a shopping cart, right? If you are creating shopping cart, there will be user already, okay? But the only problem is the new session ID, okay? Your browser has new session ID, right? So how are you gonna switch now? That is the point here, okay? So we're gonna check again. So look at here, no user ID, right? If there is no user ID, okay? No user ID, that false, and not false will be true, right? That means we go inside here and we do this one. This will be true, like this is true and this is true. Then you're gonna go inside here. User card exists. We're gonna check again, right? Like if the card has user, so we're gonna get the card again with this user, right? So how you gonna get user? Straight here. This user you have access to, okay? In a JSON wait token, right? We just call user.id and pass it, right? So get that again, user card, right? Basically, this is again the same shopping cart, okay? Same thing, right? Now we will check if user cart exists, this one. Now the reason we're doing this is to switch the swap, right? Do the swap of your session cart ID here. So what we will do, right, before login, okay, before login, you have session cart ID, something in your browser, just stored in this name. And then just soon after that, right, again, you have session cart ID. You create session cart ID in the browser, and you just add, because you have user already in the database, remember that, and it has session cart ID, right, already in the database. So you must update same session cart locally also. See, that is what we are doing, right? So just get user exist dot session cart ID, right? Just get that one attached here. So now you are connected. Your session ID is linked to your database cart, right? You are just like what you call that, sync, right? Syncing, okay, to your database. Done. Else, let's say if there is already user ID, right, then this will be false. Then you just have to go to the prisma.cart. We just update, we just add the new user ID, right? Like prisma.cart update, where ID session cart ID exists, right? Where match this session cart ID exist.id, and then data, you're gonna update your user ID, right? Just update the user ID. Okay, done. And then return token, right? That is all we have to do here. So it's all about like you have the session cart ID created in your browser. If there is cart already inside the database, then you have to check, right, if there is user or not attached to it. If there is no user, then basically you're gonna add the just add this one. Oh, sorry, if there is already user, right, then just swap this one, okay, session cart ID. If there is no user, then update the user, right? Let's just update the user. Okay, guys, there is a disturbance. You can hear the sound from outside. Hello, there is a noise from outside. No, you cannot hear, right?
No, Dave.
Okay, good. Because we have this like festival, right? What do you call that? The local area, like a what not festival, but some kind of a the agricultural.
Audible?
Yeah, some kind of that, right? For a week, maybe 10 days. Okay, so from starting 1 o'clock till 9 evening, right? They have every day, people like a lot of people, right? A lot of program, like some kind of program going on, right? You have the loudspeaker, like I don't know what they call, right? Some kind of let's call it festival, okay? So as long as you guys not hear, that's okay. I can hear that, but I don't want that get recorded in the video, Sorry, let's continue. So right, I mean, this will be little difficult to understand, right? The only thing here, we are not doing anything. We just check if there is a user logged in. Then these are the process, right? We just switching the session cart ID, okay? That is all. Or maybe adding the user ID to the cart, right? Shopping cart, okay? In the database. That is all we are doing in this part. Now the next thing, right? Next thing will be next thing is to creating the shopping cart itself, I believe. Let's go back and check. So we have done that, right? We keep session update, right? We're just gonna add this. So we have, yeah, let's add this also. I think we have already something there from before, right? This one. So I will just update this one, okay? With the new code. Because you want to have your session keep updated all the time, right? So the same thing, like you can have, like if there is a user.id equal to sub.token, right? I mean, we can check if there is user, then only you do this part, right? And sub, before I was doing same thing, like if I go back, see, session, if there is token.sub and session.user, right, then update that id. Okay, so yeah, we can do the same here, or you can leave it, it will still work, right? It will be fine. Session.user.id, just update the user id, right? Token.sub. Okay, because token, see, when you log in, right, you will just get token first time, and it has like sub as a user id. So for now, you just update in session user id, right? Just add that token, and then also if there will be role, you can add, but for now we don't have role, let's delete that. So there's no need to worry about it. But if there is any trigger, right, if there is any trigger, we are not doing any update for now. So if there is in the future, if you are doing some updates and there is a trigger equal to update, you want to update the username or something, right, you can write here. So this can be depends on the need, right, in the future. Okay, what action you want, or what things you are triggering, you can write something logic here, so that when there is trigger, these things gonna happen, right, automatically also, so that you have current data from the database, okay, in your session, right, and that will be updated automatically in your UI. But for now, let's leave it like this. Good to go. Let's move to the next thing. Now this is the main thing, right? Like authorize. Okay, authorize is the function. So here is some like a, what do you call that, a middleware also function added. So let's copy this and add here. So now, right, let's see, it must go inside the callback. Callback is ending here. So let's understand this authorize. We need to import this, right? So, next response. So we have to import this next response, right? We're gonna get that. So once we go here, let's see, authorize is a function, right? It has, we are passing the, this is the data, okay, request and auth, right? Request and auth you can get here in authorize also. Auth means what? Remember auth, our auth has the session and all that, right? The request is the something you want to access from the browser, right? So we use similarly in our remember the API, right? When you have the app.get, and then in the callback function you have request response and all that. Same thing here also, but this is the request. Okay, the type is any for now. This is array. Maybe you're thinking why there is so many line and all that, right? This is a regex code. Okay, like escaping, right? There is escape. But just look at this one, okay, like slash localhost 3000 slash shipping address slash payment method slash place order profile slash user something, right? When you have dash, you have to skip it, right, in the regex format. So for now, just remember these are some routes added in the array, right? This is item 1, like index 0, 1, 2, like that, okay? Array with some item, right? Now, how are we going to find the path, right? Let's import that next response, okay? Import next response, right, from the next server, so that error will be gone, okay? So how we gonna find the path, right? Let's say I'm in the localhost 3000 slash maybe product or admin, okay? How I know the path? So you have request.next URL. From request.next URL will give you the object, right? That will be the path. Destructure it and give it, call it path name, right? So you have the current path here. Now we check if the user is not logged in, right? And and inside the protected path. Okay, if not logged in and you are trying to go inside this path, right, protected path dot something, so it will take, like, some will take callback function, same like a map, right? Callback function, you get each path, that is a path, right? The test path name, it will return the, true or false. If that is true, right, then you make it false. Okay, that means you are not allowed to go inside if you are not logged in or you are not authorized, right? Basically, so that is all we are doing here. Okay, so it will just return you, right? It will return false and you cannot do anything. Now the point is here, we are going to create session cart ID, right? So first, let's check our browser, request.cookies.get session cart ID. Do we have session cart ID in the cookies? Let's get it, right? If no session cart, if you cannot find there, then we're gonna say new session cart ID equal to, this is just the, like, what you call that, uh like, this is one of the library maybe, right, built inside the Next.js somewhere. Okay, crypto.random UUID, right, to create some kind of ID, that is all. Okay, like random number generation, right, some kind of generating some kind of ID, that is all we are doing here. Fine. So this is the next session cart ID. Now we say new request header. You have to now create new header, right, by calling new headers constructor function, and we call it request.header. Okay, so in this request, now look at here, this request gonna add new header, right? And finally we send the response.next request colon headers new request header, right? You're gonna send that, right? So we just created the new header in our browser, request header, right? And then we set now response, this, look at this response now, right? We're gonna set cookies.set session cart ID, right? Look at this, and you just give the new ID here, new session cart ID, and return the response, right? So we just created the new header, you set the cookie to that and return it, else just return true, right? If you already have session cart ID, then just return true, you don't have to do anything. If there is no session cart ID, then just follow this process. We just created the new session cart ID and attached to our cookie, right, in the browser. So that's it. So soon, now, no matter what, right, if anyone go to the website here, right, if somebody go here to the website, right, maybe I'm not live or something like that. Yeah, so let's run the server, right? Npm run dev. If now we go online, let's also open the, so here now look at this site is open. What I'm going to do, go to the application, right, application, and here is session ID. Maybe you're thinking, okay, it was there before, right? Fine, let's delete this. Okay, now refresh the page, right, and look at here, I just get the new session ID. Look at this, that's it. So I'm going to use now this session ID will be now going to use to communicate with our backend data, like you're going to put there, right? Or shopping cart in the database already have session cart ID, then we're going to use that one and put it here, replace this one. Okay, replace this with the database session cart ID, and that is happening in the DWT, right? That is happening here. Okay, so these all things now taken care. Let's look at the next, what is the next thing, right, to do. So these are some utility function, like function to basically like round the number and get it the decimal points and all that, right? So in the utils we can add this function. Let's do that. We can use this function later in the utils. I think, yeah, just put it here, same like this formatting with decimal, something like that, right? Round the 2 decimal point. So this function also does the same thing, like you have value plus like getting to the two decimal point, right? Something like this. What I'm gonna do, right? Okay, let me show you. Go to the console. Like you have math, right? Math dot what was that, floor, around, maybe, right? I don't know what we use here. Math dot round, yeah. I'll go back, and then uh you're gonna have value. Let's call it value, maybe 50 dot something like that, right? Plus let's see, let me check, even I don't remember. A number epsilon, right? And then you're gonna multiply by 100 and then divide by 100 and see what we get back. So the number constructor, okay, from the JavaScript, right? Dot, and it will give you this one. Look at that, and then multiply by 100. So all this you have to put in another bracket, right? Multiply. So see, this will give you something like 150. Okay, look at here, you get 150 only, right? And then multiply with 100. So that is like 150, whatever it total, right? Total, and then finally you just divide with 100, right? So you get something like this number. Okay, that is all that round function is doing, right? That's the point there. Okay, so let's check now quickly. Let's do a couple of more things and then we're gonna stop for today, right? We'll continue tomorrow. So the next step is now creating the get my card, right? Let's say, what we're gonna, the next point is like a function to add in the server side, right? To like getting card from the server, or maybe creating card and all that, right? Until now, what we have done, we have just created the data types. We added the logic for our JSON web tokens, right? There we have done the work. We added the schema. Now it's time to write a function to get cart, maybe create cart, add cart, and all that, right? And then finally the UI, like where the button you're going to click, and these whole functions is going to do the magic, right? So in the action, leave actions, we're going to call cart action ts file, right? So let's go back here. Let's see. In the leave, we're gonna just add in the leave. Where is the leave? Here, right? Action. We can just add cart dot actions dot ts, right? So we have, this is a server action, all use server, right? Use server, right? Okay. So the first thing is get shopping cart, because we have to get shopping cart, right? Let's say we have shopping cart already. I'm the user, I'm gonna go to the website, right? If I have shopping cart, I added yesterday something. Now I need a function to get that. Okay, so that is what we are writing now. So this will be the thing, right? So let's import cookies from next header. Okay, then also we're gonna need auth, right? From our authentication, auth from next, basically add the red auth, right? And also we're gonna need Prisma from Prisma client, right? And we have the cart item, right? The schema, or we call it the validated schema, right? Not validated, but basically our type, so import, what was that? uh, Cart item from types, right? So this type, this type is the each item inside the cart, okay, which we created earlier, right? Inside our uh, types, we are sending from here, okay? This is the one. So we're going to need that to validate our data later. So now look at this one. First, we're going to check if there is a ID, session cart ID in the browser, right? And also we're going to get session from our auth. We know that how to get the session. This session going to have, like users informations, right? And then user ID, right? So from this session also, remember I told you, we can find user ID. If someone is logged in, you're going to get this, right? Even if someone is not logged in, still you have access to this one, okay? So now, let's say if there is no session card ID, right? For example, then we just return null, finish it, right? But there will be, trust me, there. So this will be always there. So you don't have to go through this one. I just like check, right? There's nothing. Even if I don't put, it will be okay. But we always gonna have session card. If you open the browser, you're gonna have the new session card always there. Now is card, right? How are we gonna get card from the browser? Prisma.card, Prisma.card, find first, where either or, right? We just use or inside this array, right? First parameter, if you have user ID, try to find it with user ID. If you cannot find with user ID, then session card ID, right? So out of one of them, if there is a card, you always gonna get it, right? Let's say you did not get from both, then we'll check. If no card, then return null. We don't need to find, there is no card, right? But if there is card, now you want to return that, right? So you spread the card here in the object. Okay, cart is what? Cart is something like this, right? Cart has a lot of items, not only this. This is one of the item from the cart. Okay, remember, cart has items. This is the blueprint from that for that item, right? This cart has a lot of things like price, total price, and a lot of things, right? So you add all this in the object. Inside that object, there is a cart items also, right? That items is what? This cart array item, okay? So cart dot items and make it this one, right? Just just tell the type of that items that you are the cart item, right? So that will help, okay? So now we have this. Now we need to get cart item. We're gonna call this function, right? Always. Okay, guys, just let's stop here, right? You can try up to this point. And also there is a code now, right? You just look at all this, see if that you guys can figure out. If not, we're going to continue tomorrow, okay? Because there is a lot of code. Yeah, a lot of code, right, to finish this. It will take like at least 1 more hour to finish this. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow, right? All right. Just go through whatever we have done so far and try to complete that part. See if you are getting the, the cookies, session cookies in the browser or not, right? So let me stop here.